I've made mistakes, crashed and burned, so many chances, no time to learn. I need to find another way to make things right. I won't be coming back again the second.
Hey guys, it has been a minute, and if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, we have a new addition to the family, little Miss Haven. Haven was 7 weeks early, very shocking. And yep, Huxley's still here. Hey. And I thought I would just do a little life update, just how everything's been going, maybe a little bit of our journey with a prem baby, and yeah, have a little bit of a sit down chat later. I have no pants on, so I'm going to attempt to make a coffee with one hand. How do you think that's going to go, Hux? And he wants his breakfast, and she wants to be held. Here we go, morning routine. Not a routine, just mornings. What are you gonna have for brekkie?
A special one.
You want Weet-Bix? Do you want to get me a bowl out? That would be a big help. Is that it? Is there enough in there?
Yeah!
I've literally got you balancing on the Weet-Bix box. Also, toddler life is Mr. Independent life. It's too high. Mummy will have to get it. That's okay. I'll pass it to you, Hayes. Oh, there we go.
Thanks.
You're welcome. That's good manners. Huxley is just wanting Weet-Bix. It's his go-to breakfast. He just has 2 Weet-Bix, some honey and grapes, pretty much. And then he can put his own grapes on. He's very independent, likes to do everything himself. Alright, you choose your grapies. Good boy. I'm going to attempt to put her down so I can make a coffee, pack away, tidy up while Huxley has his breakfast. That's pretty much what I do. I don't really have a routine, and with Haven it's pretty much just go with the flow, but I do try and get her down like an hour and a half after she's been awake. You got lots of weight. Shit. Not too many.
You ain't got enough of this fever, I know, I know. Nothing would remain and you don't wanna go, so go. Cause you're picking your pace, no time to waste. I wanna love you but life doesn't wait. You can't stay here and waste away. You need to taste every mistake, fall out and get up again and again. Again and again and again and again. I'll be with you always. You don't need to be afraid. And I'll meet you up, I'll meet you at the. I'll be with you always. You don't need to be afraid. I'll meet you at the end.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a workout. I ended up putting Haven upstairs in her.
Where's my net one?
Your what? I don't know. Yeah, ended up putting her in her bassinet, which I normally do in the morning, because when you have a toddler, they don't sleep down here. We have a 2-story house, by the way. So I'm going to do a workout. I'm not going to film it. because I don't have long before she probably wakes up. So I'm just going to smash it out. But if you do want to know the kind of workouts I've been doing, I'm going to put my Instagram here. And I've actually posted the workout recently, so you can save it and then do it in your own time. I always try and do it when she's having a sleep. And to be honest, I just put YouTube on for Huxley if he's not playing by himself, just so he's entertained and he's super happy to chill and watch that while I do a workout. You just got to do what you got to do, fit it in when you can, and listen to your body. I didn't work out yesterday. It's been tough. Yeah, so I've just been listening to my body. I'm 10 weeks postpartum, and I did have an emergency cesarean, so I've taken it super slow this time. And my aim is to do 3 workouts a week and aim to walk 2 to 3 times a week as well. But in saying that, I don't push myself either. If I'm sore, if I'm tired, if I've had a rough day the day before, I just rest. It's all about listening to your body and moving in. See, doesn't always work out, but let's see if it works.
Powerful. Your things are as powerful.
Ooh, that was hard.
Few things are as powerful as love. Poison is yet powerful. Love.
Waffle time.
Yum.
Yum, Huxley. So this is the Huxley pancake recipe from the recipe ebook, and it is so good. You can make it into waffles. It's very versatile. Yum. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. It's been a while. A lot has happened since I spoke to you last, and to be honest, I can't even remember what the last vlog was. It was possibly us doing another round of IVF. So since then, we have had our gorgeous little girl, Haven. She is 11 weeks old this week coming. However, her corrected age will be 4 weeks this week, because if you follow me on Instagram, you would know that I had Haven at 33 weeks pregnant, which was a very big shock, very big. And I initially wanted to do this sit down chat with Jack, but as you can see from the start of this vlog, I attempted this vlog Friday and on Sunday. So Friday, the morning started out really good. I had coffee, did my morning routine, everything was flowing. I took Huxley to bounce, which we do every Friday. He does like a 1-hour class there, which he loves. It gets his energy out for the week. However, he was not vibing it today. Anyways, we got home and, well, I didn't get to pick the camera back up because it was just chaotic. And then I thought, Sunday, Jack's home Sunday, let's give it a go. We made waffles in the morning. It was really good. I went to yoga. We had a really chilled day. We went to the beach. However, then we got home super late and we had a birthday party to go to, and we didn't get home until like nearly 6 o'clock. So I was exhausted. But I'm here now. It is Monday and Jack got home early, so he's taken Huxley for a drive because he is just refusing his day sleep. So I'm assuming he's going to be getting rid of those, which is great. And Haven, I just put down, so fingers crossed we can get through this, because I just wanted to give you a life update and fill you in on, I guess, what happened with my pregnancy. I was going to be filming my birth, so I was going to do a birth vlog and everything, but things just happened so fast and we were just really caught off guard and didn't really know that that was going to happen. So here we are. So yes, I'm 11 weeks postpartum this Wednesday. But when I was 33 weeks pregnant, my waters broke early. So I had been experiencing like, not contractions, but really intense Braxton Hicks for a few weeks, maybe even like over maybe a month. I was getting them really frequently, quite strong throughout the day. However, I had them with Hux and they are normal, and I sort of just shrugged it off. I did get a lot of cramping throughout my whole pregnancy. It was a very different pregnancy to Huxley. With Hux, I was able to exercise every day. I really enjoyed being pregnant. I was never sick. I had a really awesome pregnancy, like, you know, glowing. This pregnancy, however, it was really hard from the get-go. Like, we almost lost a pregnancy really early on, which was really hard. And I sort of have had like a rocky road up until I had her. In saying that, it was by far still an amazing pregnancy and I still really enjoyed it. It was just a lot harder. I was really sick for the first 16 weeks. I had really low energy pretty much the whole time. Lots of cramping, lots of Braxton Hicks, lots of like girdle pain, pelvic pain, all that kind of stuff. But it was my second pregnancy, so I just assumed, you know, I'm already tired from running around after a toddler, and, you know, your body sort of already knows what to do. And I was on my feet a lot. They pretty much said I had a, what was it called? Irritable uterus. So pretty much because I was on my feet, like running around after Hux all the time, it was putting a lot of pressure. And I have really low babies. Like, all my babies, my two babies, have been super low from the get-go. And they said all that pressure, the gravity's pushing down and putting pressure on your cervix, which is irritating it, which is why you're getting like those cramping pains and lower back pains. And just to take it easy, which you can't really do with a toddler, but I did the best I could. And then, yeah, one morning I woke up and I was exactly 33 weeks and I walked downstairs to go to the bathroom and I didn't make it. I was like, holy shit, I just peed myself. And I'm not even at the latest stage of my pregnancy. Like, how could I pee myself this early? So I went to the bathroom and I can hear Haven. I went to the bathroom and it was like a pinky color. Be right back, guys. I gotta get Haven. Okay, I don't know how long we've got, so I'm gonna try and make this very long story very quick. So yes, I went to the bathroom and it was like a pink color and I was like, that ain't normal, that's not okay. And there was like a tiny bit of blood, but like, this is TMI, so just block your ears if you don't want to hear it. But with Hux, I was induced, so my waters never broke and I never had like the bloody show or the mucus plug come away. I never had that. So I was kind of like, what the heck is this? And I took a photo and obviously flushed it away and everything. And then I went upstairs to Jack and I woke him up and I said, look, I think something's happened, but I'm not 100% sure. It could be normal. I don't really know what to do. So we called MAC, which is a maternity assessment unit up at the hospital, and they pretty much said, look, it could be normal because as you enter your third trimester, you get a higher, your estrogen rises and you can get like a different color discharge, but I can totally come in and get checked out. And at that stage, I'd already been up there a few times, one like low movement, which was fine, and then I had like obviously the cramping, which they said was irritable uterus, and I really didn't want to have to drive 40 minutes to the hospital again for them to say it's fine. So we decided like I'll just monitor it and just see how I go. So I went to brunch because I was having like a mini, not baby shower, but just like a breakfast to celebrate Bub because I didn't really need another baby shower. So I went to that and I was sort of getting like cramping during, and I was like, I just don't know if this is right. So I messaged my GP. I sent her a photo of the picture I took earlier and she said, look, I think you need to go and get checked out in case it is amniotic fluid leaking. And I was like, as if it is, but I'm gonna go and get it checked out because this doesn't feel like normal. So I went home, we waited for Huxley to wake up and dropped him at his grandparents and went to the hospital. And I showed them the photos and they were a little bit concerned because it did look like a bloody show. And just with the amount of fluid, like I put a pad in so I could monitor how much fluid was coming out and also the color. And I was able to show them that. So from there they did a like a cervical assessment. My cervix was closed, which was really good. And they took some swabs to test for like UTIs, a few other things, and also to test if my waters had broken. And at that stage, I was like, as if that's happened, like I'm 33 weeks, guys. Like maybe I've just got a UTI or some kind of infection there. Anyway, I could hear everything they were saying because it's just curtains, and Jack and I were just sitting there. And I heard them say, we're just waiting for the test to come back, but it's looking pretty positive that her waters have broken. And I was like, what? And I looked at Jack and I'm like, no way, like, no way. And then it was followed by, it's come back positive, her waters have broken. And I literally like mouthed to Jack, what the fuck? Like what? And I was just really in shock. Like I was not prepared for this at all. And I had been nesting, and it was so funny because it's like my body must have knew that this was going to happen. And I guess all these Braxton Hicks were sort of leading up and getting my body prepared for labor. But 33 weeks was not ready. Anyway, the doctor came in, and he pretty much said, look, we did a test to see if you, like, it's positive, your waters have broken. But we did do a test to see if you were going to go into labor within like 24 hours, and it came back negative. So we're like, okay, cool, okay. Your amniotic fluid can actually rebuild itself. It can actually, it recreates within you. I didn't know that, actually. So that was really interesting. And he said, you need to start you on antibiotics though, because your amniotic sac has been broken. There's a high chance of infection. So we had to start on antibiotics. And then he explained to me that what had happened, they diagnosed you with PPROM, which is preterm premature rupture of membrane. So essentially your waters break early. With me, there was absolutely no reason as to why. They really had no idea why, but it just happens sometimes. And sometimes with PPROM, you can continue to term, and sometimes you do go into labor after your waters have broken and you deliver early. So our game plan was try and get me to 36 weeks pregnant. And at that stage, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be on bed rest for the next 3 weeks, like not being able to leave my bed except to go to the bathroom and shower. But he said, we have to admit you, and we'll just monitor you, do a scan, check the fluid, go from there. So I stayed in overnight, and everything seemed fine. Like I was still getting my Braxton Hicks, but it was fine. And like the next day they said, look, everything seems okay. I think you can actually go home, not on bed rest, but just take it easy, and we'll just monitor you and see how everything's going, and you have to stay on the antibiotics until you give birth pretty much. So we went home, and that night we were having dinner, and I hadn't really felt Bub move. Like we got home and I sort of had felt Bub move, but while we were having, from dinner onwards, I just hadn't felt the baby move at all, and it was getting a little concerning. And I remember eating dinner, and I stood up when I'd finished, and like lots of fluid came out. And then I looked at Jack and I was like, I don't think that's normal, because it does keep trickling out. There's Haven again. Sorry. I think I'm gonna give this one more go. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not meant to be. Okay, where was I? Yes, dinner. Oh yes, more fluid just kept coming out. And they did say it's not, like it will keep trickling out through until I give birth, but this was a lot, like more than the first time. And I looked at Jack and I laughed, and then it just kept coming out, and I was like, this is not okay. So we don't know what's normal anymore. So I was like, let's just see how I go. Let's just monitor it, and we'll go from there. And went to bed and everything. And I remember waking up at midnight because I just wasn't sleeping. Just at that time of your pregnancy where you have like pregnancy insomnia, and I wasn't sleeping. I woke up at midnight and I was like, I'll go down and I'll have my antibiotic, because it was like 4 times a day. And I went down and I went to the bathroom, and then there was like a little bit of blood, and it was just so, I hadn't felt the baby move at all, like the whole time. And I just sort of thought to myself, this is it. Like, I think I'm going to have this baby, because I just knew something wasn't right. So I just casually, calmly walked upstairs and I packed my bag as if I was going in for labor. So I packed like all my clothes, pads, snacks. Like I'd already sort of had a little bit packed, but I just packed everything, baby clothes. I packed a bag for Huxley. And then I just woke Jack up and I said, look, babe, I think we're going to have to go to the hospital. Like I still haven't felt the baby move. There's a bit of blood and yeah, I have a feeling and I think we really do need to go in. So we just grabbed Huxley, put him in the car as he was, put everything in, dropped him off at the grandparents and then went to the hospital where they, you know, strapped me up and put a monitor on me. And yeah, they obviously, I took a photo of the blood as well and showed them and they were like, okay, like, we need to admit you again and you'll probably have to stay at hospital until you do give birth, whether it be now, tomorrow, or 36 weeks. So that was that. That was really hard to sort of digest and understand because we just weren't ready, and like I had planned all this time with Huxley because, you know, I was getting to that stage where I'm not going to have this time with Hux again. It's going to make me cry. I was feeling really guilty because I wasn't going to get to spend that one-on-one time with him ever again. Anyways, it was really hard. And I feel like he just didn't have time to wrap his head around everything as well. But anyway, Jack sort of went home around maybe like 4 or 5 o'clock. And that day, I'm really lost with days. That day, they were like, you know what, we're going to take you in for an ultrasound at 1 p.m. and we're going to check the fluid around the baby because you've been losing a lot more. Your body might not be remaking it as quick as it needs to. And if that happens, there's a really high chance of A, infection, B, bub going into distress and actually causing difficulties for the baby, long-term difficulties. So I was like, yep, okay. And they monitored me the whole time. And anyways, I was like, Jack, you need to go get a car seat and put it in the car. And you need to go and grab a few things just so we're organized if we do have this baby early, like clothes, like, because this baby was going to be tiny. It was going to be so tiny. The doctors had come in and they said, look, you're 33 weeks. The baby is fully developed. However, it is going to be really small and we need to prepare you for that. So we want to take you to NICU and just show you what a 33-weeker looks like so that when you do have the baby, or if you have the baby, you know what you're going to be going into and you know what to expect. And I was like, yep, that sounds great. Like, I would really like that. With Hux, we'd been to NICU and special care before, so I knew that whole journey in itself, so that was okay. It was sort of a little overwhelming because I really struggled with Huxley in special care in NICU. I really mentally struggled when he was in hospital. I was very depressed. I so stressed out. As a first-time mum, I didn't know what was happening, and he was like 2 steps forward, 5 steps back every single day, and it was horrible. And any parent that's been through special care would totally understand what I'm saying. But I felt a little bit more like at ease going into it this time because I just wasn't going to put the pressure on myself like I did last time. I just had this sense of calm. It's a really odd thing to explain, but I just knew I was going to have this baby, but I just was like, it's okay. Like, this baby is actually going to be okay, and this really needs to happen. So yeah, the doctor came in. I'm never going to get this done, am I? This is why I haven't done any vlogs, by the way, because shit's hard. Where was I? So yeah, I was feeling oddly calm. So yeah, Jack went to go and get organized, and what I actually did was I listened to a couple of podcasts on Australian birth stories about pre-prom births and babies and people, mums, and just to prepare myself for the journey I was about to enter. And I also made a birth playlist that I had something to listen to, which I actually listened to right up until I gave birth to her. And yeah, that was really quite nice because I was on my own this whole time. Like, it was such an odd experience because I'm just normally around Huxley or Jack or work, or it was just such a different feeling to be alone pretty much the whole day knowing that I was going to have a baby. The doctor came in and she's like, have you felt bub move yet? And I was like, no, I still haven't felt bub move. So, you know, we're getting towards 24 hours of the baby not moving. And she was looking at the ECG and she was like, look, I'm not happy with how this is looking. I'm really not happy with the heart rate and sort of everything going on here. Like, obviously the baby's okay, but it's just not looking good and I don't feel comfortable with the results that are on the screen. She goes, where's your husband? And I said, he's at Robina. He's at the shops. And she said, look, I think it's best you tell him to come here because it's about a half an hour drive. I was like, okay, no worries. She goes, and I also think that we should prepare you for a cesarean. I know it's not what you wanted. I did have to have an emergency cesarean with Huxley, and I really was hoping for a VBAC, a vaginal birth after cesarean this time. She said, look, we can see if you will go into spontaneous labor, because I was actually having a contraction as she was there and she could feel it, and she's like, you obviously starting to contract, but we're happy to let you go, but if this doesn't improve in 10 minutes, we need to go down the cesarean path. And I said, absolutely. I have a feeling though, I just knew my body wasn't going to go into like full-blown labor for at least another 24 hours. Like, I feel like my body would have been in pre-labor for a long time, and we just didn't, time was not our friend. And I was like, you know what? The most important thing is this baby, and I don't feel this baby move, and it's scaring me, and I think we just need to get this baby out. So I signed the paperwork to say it's okay to have a cesarean if needed be, if there was an emergency and we needed to do it. So I called Jack and I was like, where are you? You need to get here like right now, because I'm 90% sure we're going to have a baby like really soon. And he was like, oh my God, okay. I just ducked to the post office and I was like, yep, sweet, go do that and then come here. So then she's come back in 10 minutes later. She looked at the screen and she said, nah, we're doing this. This baby needs to come out. And I was just like, oh my God. And I was thinking, oh my God, Jack's not going to get here in time. And she's like, where's your husband? We're ready in 10 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, he's still half an hour away. So I've rung him. I'm like, you need to get here now. Like, we're having a baby now. Like, they're getting me ready to go into theatre now. So he's like dropped everything and he started driving, and they sort of like pushing it back because they were like, how far away is he? Like, we need to do this like now. And I was like, he's 10 minutes away. They're like, okay, we need to start like getting you ready. So they getting everything prepped. I was getting, you know, into a gown and everything. And Jack called and he said, there's no car parks. I can't park the car. Like, the cars are backed out of the car park. There's literally, it's full. You can't get in. And at this point, we literally had like 5 minutes until I was going into theatre. And oh my God, it was so stressful because I was just like, you need to get in here. Like, I don't care where you park the car, but you need to be here. And the doctors and nurses were like, just park out the front. Just tell them that your wife's having a baby. You need to park there. Long story short, I was getting wheeled in to get the epidural and he just walked in, scrubbed up. Just walked in the nick of time. It was, oh my God. I get goosebumps thinking about how close it was to not having him in there. And this part we'd done before. Jack knew his role. He did it awesome the first time. But yeah, I got the epidural, which was fine. Was laying down. It was a very different experience this time. I had a very positive experience the first time. This time, not so much. And I won't go into detail because every case is different. But yeah, it wasn't great. I did, however, knowing this was going to be our last baby, we really wanted to make the most of this last experience. So in the light that the doctors used for the surgery, you could actually see your reflection. So we were able to watch the whole procedure or surgery done in the reflection, which was the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. I did have to turn away a few times and I did almost vomit, but they quickly gave me something for that, which was great. But it was insane. Like, oh my God, cesareans are just hectic. They're great, like it's fine, but it was just like what your body goes through, what you go through is insane. So if you've had a cesarean, girlfriend, my hat is off to you, because it is tough. It's one, tough to make the decision. Two, it's tough to go through and put your body through. And three, the recovery is really hard as well. So I feel you. I'm with you, girlfriends. I've had two now. Anyways, long story short, they pulled her out. We didn't know what we were having, by the way, and it was Jack's job to say it's a boy or it's a girl, and we sort of had girl vibes. We were like, no, we're going to be a boy parents. We're going to have two boys. That's what we're going to do. So they pulled her out, or pulled it out, and we sort of just looked at it, and they were like, we weren't even thinking of the sex. We're just like trying to think, is she okay? Does she look okay? Is she crying? Is her color okay? And then they were like, well, like, what is it? And I was like, Jack, what is it? And I was not looking purposely. And he's like, looked really confused. And I was like, what is it? And I looked and I was like, is it a girl? Because everything was so swollen. And they're like, yes. And we were like, oh my God. And we just looked at each other in total amazement that I can't believe we have a girl. Wow. And she was crying and she was doing everything right, and I was able to have skin on skin. I couldn't believe I was able to have skin on skin and delayed cord clamping, which was just the most amazing thing ever. And then they took her away. Jack went with her while they fixed me up, which was, yep, another story. And she was absolutely fine. They did put her on CPAP because they thought initially she didn't have any trouble breathing, but then they thought maybe that she was having a bit of a struggle to breathe, because a lot of preterm babies have to go on CPAP. It just helps like with the flow of oxygen and to help regulate their breathing. And they also warned me that because she was preterm and a cesarean, that was a chance she could have fluid on her lungs, because a vaginal birth actually squeezes that fluid out, and they didn't get that. So yeah, so they did all that, weighed her 1.8 kilos, so just under 4 pounds. She was tiny, guys, so tiny. If I can find a photo that's not gory, I'll pop it here. And then I went to recovery, and then I wasn't able to see her because in the NICU room was too small. My bed wouldn't fit in there, so I had to wait for 6 hours for my body to be able to move again. But Jack went with her. He did it with Hux, and it was beautiful because besides my voice, the dad's voice is the only other voice, or the partner's voice is the only other voice the baby knows. So if the dad can go with Bubby and talk to the baby to keep it calm, then that's the best thing, of course. So yeah, we just spent the next, 6 hours in our little love bubble. Like, I just could not wait to see her. I expressed some colostrum. I kept bugging the nurse to be able to get up and have a shower so I could go see her. And right on, I think we even did it at like 5 hours. I think it was before the 6. She was like, all right, let's do it. So I got up, had a shower, and we went down. Jack wheeled me down, and it was sort of scary seeing her on the CPAP with all the cords and the drip, and it was just really confronting because I wasn't sure at this stage how she was going to be. But yeah, it was beautiful and amazing, and I just couldn't wait to get my first proper cuddle. And yeah, she was only on CPAP for really that first day, and she was only in NICU for the first maybe 2 days, and then she got moved to special care, which was amazing. And we stayed in special care for 33 days. We got home 23 days. We got home just before Christmas. So she was born on the 1st of December, and we got home the day before Christmas Eve with NEDS, which is a neonatal early discharge service. So a lot of people asked what the tube was in Haven's nose. It's a nasal gastric tube. So she couldn't feed. She was so preemie. She can't suck and she can't swallow at that gestation, so all her feeds had to go through the tube. So all the colostrum and all the breast milk I pumped went through the nasal gastric tube, and that's how she was fed. And we went home with that until she could solely breastfeed, or until we weren't topping her up with needing to top her up anymore. And I mean, it got to the point where we were like, let's just top her up with a bottle, because we want the tube out so she's comfortable, and it was easier to top her up with a bottle then. But yeah, the stay in hospital was a lot better this time. I felt a lot calmer. She didn't have the setbacks Huxley did. She just kept trooping forward. Like, they were just so amazed. They're like, she is doing so well. Like, she was purely only there because of her feeding, because she couldn't feed yet, which is just amazing. She was jaundiced a little bit and had to go under the light for a day, and that was it, where Hux was like constantly under the light. I decided to stay every second night. With Hux, I stayed every night, and for my mental health, I couldn't do it again. Like, you're in a hospital room after a surgery, cesarean, on like a hard bed, which I was so grateful for, but it's very hard to get up every few hours to feed and express and to help the nurse do all the cares and all that kind of stuff. To get up and down was just so painful. But I decided to stay every second night. And I also needed to go home to Huxley, because he had all of a sudden been thrown into this entire new world of, my mum's not here, I have a new sister, dad's home all the time looking after me. It was huge, big changes for him in such a short span of time that it was really hard for him, but he did amazing. So I'm really proud of him for that. But Jack and I, like, once that little bubble wore off, I think the enormity of the situation sort of hit us, and I just remember looking at him and I was like, I just can't believe this has happened. Like we are so lucky she's okay, because it could have gone one or two ways, and we were just so grateful that she was healthy and happy and doing so well. And going home that every second night was the best thing I could have done for my mental health, because I got a break from the hospital. I was able to go and see Huxley, so my mum guilt, it was always there, because when I was with him I missed her, and when I was with her I missed him, and it was always there. But I was able to sleep in my own bed, eat food in my own house, get fresh air, sunshine, fill my cup up and spend time with my family, and then go back to the hospital feeling full of love and energy to give to my little girl. And yeah, it was it was a lot better this time. And if anyone's going through that journey now of special care in NICU, I know how hard it is. Like, it's the hardest thing you'll ever have to do, and you'll go through the emotions and frustration of, you know, people giving birth and having their babies in their room straight away, or going home with their babies 2 days later, and it's really hard not taking your baby home. Like, really hard. It's a different journey and different milestones. So I'll still remember when we weighed her and she was 2 kilo, and we're like, oh my god, she's 2 kilo. Like, that's amazing. When we got her drip out, when we got her ECG stickers off, like, every little thing, every little milestone we celebrated that other people don't get to celebrate. So we tried to grab onto that and hold on to those beautiful things that we get to celebrate that most people don't. Sorry, my battery died, but it gave me a chance to gather myself. Yeah, it's just a hectic experience, and I just can't believe she's okay. Like, there's a lot of questions I'm trying to think people asked that I wanted to answer, but a lot of it was like the tube, why my waters broke, if she had any complications. So far so good. She's 3.3 kilo now at nearly 11 weeks, so she's the size of what a newborn baby would be now. So if that kind of puts it into perspective for you guys, she was so tiny. Like I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. They did say if we were to have another baby, that the chance of it happening again is very high, and for us that risk, it's not worth the risk. We were very lucky with Haven, but we might not be so lucky next time, and that's not a risk we're willing to take. So we've got our 2 babies. Her name is Haven, Tallow, Kathy. Our girl names were Haven and Tallow. We loved those names. So Haven means safe place, and because she was now in a safe place, we decided to call her Haven and just put Tallow as her middle name. Our boys' names we liked but didn't love, so we're sort of glad we had a girl in that term, was Hunter and Hudson. I don't know, we have a thing for H's, it's super weird, but we're sort of leaning towards Hunter, so that would have been probably, if we had a boy, what we would have called him. But yeah, she's doing amazing, guys. We got her tube out whilst we were home, and she's just been hitting those goals ever since. She has not stopped. She's going to be a true fighter. I can tell we're going to have our hands full. And yeah, she's just absolutely amazing. She's losing all her hair here, so she looks like she's got my dad's hair cut, which is like a receding hairline. It's hilarious. I don't know if she's going to be blonde like Huxley. I don't know. It's very exciting to see who she's going to turn into and watch her grow. But I think that's all the question, guys. It's a very, I don't know how long this is going to be, but yeah, if you have any questions about special care nursery, prom, or if you're going through it and just need to chat, I'm always here. On my Instagram, like that's my handle here. You can always reach out to me if you're needing to chat, because it's not nice going through it alone, and I'm all about sharing experiences so it helps other people. So if this helps you, I'm really glad. And if you are a long-term follower or friend, like, here's my story, and I'm glad I could finally properly share it with you all. But thank you so much. Hopefully I will get back into vlogs. It's been really hard juggling 2 kids, guys. Like, I've been really struggling with the balance, and like this, it's taking me 3 days to even sit down and chat to you guys, but I'll get there. We need to support each other and get through this together. But I love yous, and I'll leave it there. See you guys.